Right, let's get started. Now, the executive director of energy think tank Institute of Energy Security, Kwesi Anamwasechi, says that the energy minister Peter Amewu goofed when he tied the current power outages to challenges with car power. John Peter Amewu on Monday explained the current power cuts being experienced in parts of the country were due to localized faults. But speaking on PM Express, Mr. Anamwasechi said, contrary to the minister's assertions, huge debt in the sector are to be blamed.
Why was AXA and Car Power sitting idle when they can run on HFO? We have been so much and heavily dependent on natural gas.
Yeah.
It could be it is the cheapest form of fuel, but we know that all the plants run on dual fuel. Either it's run on natural gas and distillate fuel oil, natural gas and light crude oil, natural gas and heavy fuel oil. They run. So you should have a backup for the natural gas that you have been so much dependent, you'll be dependent on. And we know Car Power and AXA don't depend on natural gas. Yeah. So where is their fuel? Okay. So I say it cannot be tied to Car Power badge. Many times our government indicated that they are moving Car Power badge from the eastern corridor to the western corridor. Today we know Amandi is working on the platforms. Yeah. So the reverse flow is not coming for Car Power badge. Car Power badge is supposed to go to. There are other plants. Asogli is there.
Yeah, exactly.
Good. So why do you say technical issue of car power? No, why did you pinpoint on car power? When car power is not going to receive the reverse flow, but it's rather going to go to the western enclave.
Now, whilst Mr. Anamwa suggests that tariff review will help to deal with the current situation, he also wants government to come clean on the cause of the current intermittent and unannounced power outages, as well as an action plan to deal with the problem.
We'll continue accumulating the debts until we set the right tariff. Okay. Today, ECG will take it from the power producer at 59 pesos per kilowatt hour,
so you expect
and sell at 42. Already there is a loss of 70%.
So one of the ways forward is review tariff.
One to go. Okay. The next thing is that they sell to us in cedis, collect the money in cedis, and go and pay the IPPC in dollars.
Which the forest you're buying too much.
The forest exposure.
You need too much cedis to buy that.
It should be managed. Okay. And finally, I want the minister to give us a clear plan of action that is going to take to stop this and ensure that it will not recur.
Okay.
An anti-corruption group, Ghana Integrity Initiative, is cautioning Parliament against failing to pass the Right to Information Law. Project manager Abigail Jima insists it is the surest way to improve Ghana's worsening performance on the Corruption Perception Index. Despite passing the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act in 2017, Ghana recorded its lowest score over the past 6 years, earning the 81st spot in the world. Speaking to JoyNews on the sidelines of an anti-corruption forum organized by the African Union in Botswana, Ms. Jima said the time was right for the law to be passed.
We are making strides. I think that there's more to do, but as a country, if you see the kinds of reports that we have lately from the Auditor General being as vocal as he is in his fight against corruption, Straj also in the work that they're doing in implementing the NACAP. So there's been strides. We can do more. We have to allocate more resources to where we talk about fighting corruption. And so, yes, we have the policies, but it's about time we put money where our mouth is also.
Because if you look at the Corruption Perception Index that comes from your organization, I mean, we've realized that for like 4 or 5 years running, Ghana's score is still on the decline. How can we turn that around in a short term, even though we are still talking about perception and not maybe actual corruption necessarily?
Well, you should also know that perception is also based on people's experiences as well. And so, yes, that people think that the citizens think that the country is corrupt is also something that should give us cause for worry. And so to turn the tide is also to get information out. And so that's basically for us as Anti-Corruption Crusade, the fight against corruption. The passage of the RTI for us is the basic first step we have to take. And we're hoping that the promises the parliamentarians have given that by the time they rise in December, it will be passed. If it is passed...
I've heard that a number of times.
Oh, well, yeah. And so our work as citizens and as anti-corruption crusaders is actually to take them to task on their word. And so if they say they will pass it by the time they rise, let's hope they do. And so we focus our energies on working with them to pass it. And if we get a credible law, I think it's a very good first step in the fight against corruption.
Meanwhile, head of Ghana's mission to the African Union, Ama Chumamwa, has been defending government's efforts towards fighting corruption. She argues the result of the passage of the Office of Special Prosecutor Act will be evident in due time.
We need to start, and we have started. You know, the president is very passionate about fighting corruption. That is why now we have the office which is being run by a former member of the opposition party, you know, to fight corruption. But what I can say is that it shouldn't be coming from the government alone. Individuals, you know, from the localities, from the districts to the regional assemblies and all, we should all help. The president is just one person. The government, it's all of us. So we all have to chip in, and then I think we will make headways in our fight against corruption.
The Corruption Perception Index is a very important indicator. I mean, over the past 5 years, Ghana, we've not performed so well. The score keeps dropping. Even though we have the OSP passed, we still recorded a low level, ranking about 84 for the year 2017. How soon can we expect some improvements with that pass now?
That is very difficult to say. You know, as you said, it's perception. Everybody says that politicians are corrupt, public servants, civil servants are corrupt. But then when you ask for real evidence, they are not able to give concrete evidence as to this one was corrupt, this woman was corrupt. So I think it's the perception, you know, and because of the way things are going in the country, it's been a bit politicized also. That's what I think. So we will fight, and I believe that eventually, you know, the perception will subside. And it also needs education. We need to educate the people, and then it will subside here.
Very soon, we will have more than 30 dams constructed under the One Village, One Dam policy. This is an assurance from the Deputy Agric Minister, Sagre Bambangi. I hope I've said that name right. President Akufo-Addo, during the 2016 election campaign, promised to build a dam in the villages of the 3 regions to the northernmost part of the country via a well-planned irrigation policy. Speaking at the Joy FM Scorecard, an event that scrutinizes the manifesto programs of the governing New Patriotic Party, the Deputy Agric Minister indicated that the delay in the construction of these dams were as a result of the procurement process by government.
If you look at the Pong left bank and the Pong right bank, as well as the Tono irrigation dams, we have already completed procurement processes, and work is ongoing at Pong. Work has started at Tono, and work will be starting very soon at Pong right bank. And there are some other irrigation projects in the north. And we are developing, even though the dams were done, the irrigable land around them wasn't done. And so we are working on that one, and it's being done. Then the One Village, One Dam was to be executed by the development authorities. The Northern Development Authority, in particular, was the one that was to coordinate the implementation of that One Village, One Dam program, because that lies in the Savannah area. And you know, we had to go through legalities in Parliament, and everything is now in place. Procurement processes have taken place, and contractors are on site, and the construction is ongoing. So very soon, please, I'm landing. Very soon, we are going to have more than 30 dams under construction very soon. Very soon. Okay. So we are on course, and we'll make sure that by the end of 2019, you'll see a lot of the dams out there to water our livestock and also to provide water for our crops, especially the high-valued crops, that is the vegetables, and then cowpea and rice.
Okay.
Yes. So Tono, when we finish rehabilitating Tono, we are going to put 2,000 hectares under irrigation.
High-valued crops. Vegetables. A 7-member committee set up to oversee implementation of recommendations by an investigative team on alleged police shooting at Fuase is proposing a joint burial ceremony for the victims. 4 victims, all males, died when police reportedly opened fire on a group of residents protesting the relocation of the Atwima district capital from Fuase to Twede. Well, so the deceased have so far been identified as Kweku, Prince Boateng, Joseph Apo, and Dominic Adai. Ohmini Teria brings us more.
Though government has started implementing recommendations of an independent inquiry, the bodies of the deceased remain at the morgue. The 7-member committee is to consult the Attorney General's office to determine the appropriate compensation for the dead and wounded persons. The Ministry of National Security is set to reimburse 100,858 Ghana cedis in medical costs for victims. The committee, among others, will also ensure relocation of the district capital to Twede. The National Peace Council has started consultations with the affected families ahead of a meeting with the Implementation Committee on Tuesday. The council believes organizing a befitting funeral for the deceased could pave way for the needed peace between the two communities. Right Reverend Nuben Abubakar is chairman of the Ashanti Regional Peace Council.
The Implementation Committee met yesterday, and they have taken a decision to first on Monday visit the morgue to inspect the corpse, and then Tuesday they will go to the town, meet with the people, and they have suggested 3 days for the burial and funeral. They have planned an interdenominational service for all of them, and the 4 will be buried together, almost in the same area. And then the funeral will take place in the afternoon. Ashanti, when a family member dies, the family's major prerogative is to see to the burial of the dead, and he must be buried properly. That is why we want to prioritize that. When the people are buried peacefully, the rest can follow.
And would this also play a role in ensuring lasting peace for the two communities?
We hope so. When they are buried, then the committee will sit down and find out how to get the two towns, Twede and Fuase, to accept some of the departments of the council and other things. They will be divided among them, and we hope that will bring peace to the people.
From Kumasi for Joy News, Oyminteria reports.
Now, coconut is one of the most difficult foods to keep fresh after dehusking because it easily becomes brown over a few hours. However, local sellers have managed to find a way of making it stay fresh using a chemical called alum. How is this achieved? Well, Love FM's Kwesi Deborah takes a look at the science behind the method.
Kwabena Yeboah has been selling coconut along the Dancer Formula Road in the Ashanti region for 7 years. He sells on average 2 sacks of coconut daily. His clients, of course, want their stuff fresh, and he is always ready to deliver. After he's done dehusking, he dips the coconut in this dirty solution. It contains alum, a chemical commonly used in water treatment. It is meant to keep the coconut fresh for many hours, else it will become brown. It looks old after leaving it in the open for some time, but with the alum, it stays white. Every passing car will come to buy because they think it's fresh. But how does it become brown? All plant tissues contain an enzyme called polyphenol oxidase, or PPO. When fresh coconut is cut, oxygen is introduced into the injured plant tissue. When oxygen reacts with polyphenol oxidase, or PPO, another substance called O-quinones is formed, which leads to the characteristic brown color. The same phenomenon occurs in apples, avocado, peaches, bananas, and pineapples. Dr. Bokwe Sheringham is with the Department of Chemistry, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology.
When you dip the coconut pulp into alum, what happens is that the alum acts as a coating on the surface of the coconut pulp. As such, the polyphenolic compounds in the coconut are not exposed to oxygen, and so enzymatic browning cannot occur. And so it acts as a sort of preservative.
Now you know. It's not enough to know how to sell. Sometimes, a bit of science helps. Reporter for Joy News, Kwesi Deborah.
Kwesi Deborah, he studied that subject, about microbiology and all those things. Yeah, the Kenyan USC, so he knows his stuff.
Indeed, fascinating story there.
And all that.
Yeah, you learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
What do we care? We just eat it.
Indeed. Well, not anymore, now that you know how it can be preserved as well.
Definitely.
Brilliant.
Once you have the knowledge, you're more cautious. Is that why we need to acquire knowledge, Kojo?
You're probably onto something there, but at the moment, I'm sorry, all I can think of is Mukona Dokube. All right, listen, let's get straight to it. So much coming up on the AM show today. We'll start it off with all the headlines from today's newspapers after this.